Okay, so here I'm talking about the first day I got back into this thing here, which is a Tuesday morning. I built a frame here. It's a complete frame for this, I believe it's a 2006 Kawasaki Drifter. And got the frame done here. It's all set to go. I'm going to clean it up and put it in the powder coat oven. And we'll continue working on the adapter cradle for this one. And this is the bike here. It's kind of got the Indian look to it. It was kind of a clone of an Indian. It's got the fenders that are kind of the bobbin fenders or bopper fenders. I don't know what you call them. They've got the large skirt, and we'll be tearing that one apart. It's going to be a pretty minor tear apart. I just have to get the wheel off of there and get the fork tubes out. He did actually provide another set of fork tubes, so I won't be damaging the ones that came with this bike. I usually cut off the fork tubes and use them for the steering. And there's all the parts that I built and are powder coated and all done. You got the A-arms there, the frame, and then on the right side there is the bottom mounts for the bottom A-arms. So that's all ready to go. So we got the front end off and everything, and this is the bracket, one of the main fastening brackets, and actually it hooks on, most of these hook on where the foot pegs hook on. And this one, there's actually on the inside, which you can't see, there's a piece of pipe that actually slides over a projection on the frame. So not only is it fastened by the two large bolts, there's also a interference fit with the nub that sticks out from the frame itself. There you can see it, just briefly. But that makes a really solid attachment. You would actually probably break the frame before you'd break anything there. So the whole idea here is you make the new part actually a extension of the existing frame. And that has to be done on each side, but it has to be done in a bolt together fashion. As you can see here, there's two bolts there on the bottom, and that actually attaches those two units together, right where my hand is there. And that way I can actually assemble it on the bike without a lot of frustration. And then on the top there's a couple clamps. The main focus there is the top of the frame actually pushes against the frame, so that does not have to be as technical. I did have to modify this a little bit because the way I had it built didn't actually work. I had to cut off that long piece on the other side, but it worked out just fine. And as you can see, sometimes they're a little bit tricky to get together, so you have to kind of plan on that. Everything is, a tight fit. And there, the old fist bump. The fist bump always works. So we'll get this last piece on there, and the two union bolts go in there. Those are a pair of 3/8 stainless steel bolts. And here I got the A-arms all mounted with the low friction ball joint. That's a Delphi ball joint, and they have to be low friction, otherwise you get what we call ball joint memory, where you turn the handlebars and they don't automatically turn back, which can cause a lot of really squirrely driving. What I'm saying here is I didn't like the crash bar. It was all nicked up and all that, and so what I did is I went around the whole thing and I wire wheeled it to the bare metal and re-powder coated that, so that's much nicer. And here I'm showing how nice and loose those ball joints are, and they have to be that way. And that is a special ball joint. No standard ball joint will work. They're too stiff, because you do have direct steering. So you know, any stiffness there, and there I'm showing how I'm being a crazy man or something. I don't know what I'm doing there. And the shocks I ordered special for this one in black. These are I believe these are Progressive 416 shocks. It's 155 pound spring. These are technically the shocks you use on a rear of a Harley Davidson. Most of your Harley Davidsons use this shock on the rear if they don't have air assist. Those would be a Shoei or Showa shock. And I used to use Showa shocks, which are basically the same as the Progressive. I mean, I could barely tell the difference in ride. I can barely tell the difference in the look. These do have the regular ratchet style adjustment, which I always adjust all the way up. That adjustment does not make the shock stiffer or softer. All it does is change the ride height. And there's the spindles are mounted. I've got the brake done. The calipers are painted. All the parts are ready for this. Tie rods, all that. Steering column. I machined down the rotors. So Monday morning, all that goes on here. The only thing I'll have left is the anti-sway bar, and then I can start body panels. So this one's actually going in the shop here pretty quick, in the paint shop, probably by the end of next week. So moving right along. It's going to be an exciting week next week. And you can see there I've got the wheel all ready for it. So that's the scoop on this build so far.